The Monkey is a movie that was highly anticipated by many people. Okay, some people. But it did seem like a lot of people were interested when its marketing campaign got rolling. Not only was it based off of a well-known children's toy, which only rose in stardom thanks to Toy Story 3, but it was also directed by Osgood Perkins, who directed Longlegs, it was produced by James Wan, and it was also a Final Destination type movie, which we later found out was very much in demand. However, in a surprising turn of events, it would appear that The Monkey didn't take its inspiration from Final Destination, but Final Destination took its inspiration from The Monkey, and this toy started this whole idea of killing people in this fashion. It's ironic, isn't it, that this movie is supposed to be the original Final Destination, because as you're about to find out, it should have taken some serious lessons from the copycat. Because although critics seemed to like it well enough, audiences were less than impressed, including me. The movie is centered around these two twin brothers named Bill and Hal. Bill is a piece of shit who bullies his younger twin, and Hal is...
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yeah, I wish. Hal is your average reserved kid, and we see how they both find and use the monkey, not knowing that it kills people. And the first victim to die is their babysitter. Next, Hal decides to use it with the intention to kill Bill.
I am gonna kill Bill.
Yeah, I wish. But instead, it ends up killing their mum. Hal feels betrayed by the monkey and amputates it, and then they move in with their aunt and uncle. But the monkey can apparently teleport and repair itself, so Hal and Bill throw it down a well. 25 years later, the brothers have been long separated, but the monkey is somehow back and is killing tons of people. And Hal has to figure out what's going on before the monkey kills again. So, that's the story. Now let's talk about the first thing the monkey gets wrong. The first thing to throw you off about The Monkey is its tone. The entire marketing campaign was selling this as a full-on horror movie, but when you watch the film, from the very opening scene, it establishes that this is a light comedy, whilst also being a serious drama, but also a dark comedy, and also a traumatizing character piece between two grieving brothers, even though the death scenes are filmed to be hilarious.
Wait! Fuck! Fuck, is that a leg? Fuck! No! Yeah, everything's fine.
And that's the first big problem. The movie just doesn't know what it wants to be. It keeps switching between these numerous tones, and this indecisiveness makes for a very confusing experience. Everything just feels off. From these comedic death scenes to the way it abruptly cuts to their funeral, but then this was the last straw. We have what looks like a junior priest here, and he's introduced like this.
Oh, fuck. Today, gone by accident. Or rather, in an accident, because it is what it is.
This is supposed to be funny, but both me and my brother were watching with the biggest confused expressions on our face. Nothing about the tone here works, and the comedy is not funny. It's done in very poor taste and doesn't know when to make a joke or how to make it. And to jump from a serious scene into this bizarro comedy just makes the film feel like it doesn't have a handle on its tone. And it decided to make this funeral scene funny when it should have been serious, because the prior scene that the two brothers saw was supposed to be traumatic. And this is all supposed to contribute to the trauma they have in the rest of the film years later. But the film decides to play it off to an unfunny joke and treats the whole thing very tongue-in-cheek, and it undercuts the tonal consistency of the movie as well as the drama between these two later. Whereas with a movie like Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland, you know these are supposed to be comedies with some genuine tension, emotion, and horror, because the writers and filmmakers know how to set it up as such. The same level of skill is not in The Monkey, however, but the movie seems to think that it is. This makes the deaths lack any horror, the comedy lack any laughs, and the characters lack any genuine emotion. So the problems with the tone actually trickle down and compromise everything else in the film. And that brings us to the movie's next problem. Now, there aren't really much characters in this movie, most of them are relegated to the flashbacks, and then the movie really centers around Hal and the odd character he comes into contact with. The ones that get the most screen time are his son, Petey, this weirdo who sold the monkey and now wants it back by any means necessary, and Bill. And from the flashbacks to everything else, I noticed that everyone acts very mellow for the majority of this movie, almost as if the filmmaker was channeling a mix of M. Night Shyamalan with David Fincher's style, because it has a very dark and David Fincher-esque look to it, with the emotional range of an M. Night Shyamalan film. But again, this look does not match the tone of the film. Look at how Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead visualize their movies. They were perfectly reflective of their respective tones, but The Monkey is not. It's made to look like a very serious and dark film, and then has scenes like this.
Everybody dies.
And you will both die. And all of your friends and their parents, and some of us peacefully in our sleep, and some of us horribly, violently, screaming through duct tape over our mouths and all that jazz. Oh, come on, let's go dancing.
In context with the movie and what we had just witnessed, this is very out of place and just weird. And it only gets worse when you combine that with the very dull and deadpan delivery from the actors. This bizarre combination of subdued characters and heightened humor does not work. And this was a big disconnect to me. And this disconnect happened 12 minutes into the film. Now, sometimes the comedy can work. I mean, this joke got a genuine laugh out of me.
I was gonna tell you when you were older, okay?
You've been a goddamn deadbeat dad because of a toy monkey? What the fuck?
Hey, language, and yes.
Now that was genuinely good and a well-written joke, and it fits the more depraved style this movie is going for. That's the kind of humor that this movie needed. But most of the time, the comedy felt like it was just conflicting with the more serious themes of this movie, and that includes the execution of these characters. And the characters themselves, I don't blame the actors. The shortcomings of their bland performances is not their fault, it's the director's. Whatever style he is trying to go for is clearly not working. Theo James, who plays the twins, people say he does a very good job at making both roles very different. And well, he does make them different, but they are both dull. And that's kind of the word I would use to describe all the characters in this movie, as well as the tone. And when you find out what the motivation is for Bill and his role in all of this, and how he wants to use Hal's son, it is some of the dumbest and most contrived writing I have seen in a long time. And that brings us to our next problem, the star itself. This has to be the most useless demonic object I have ever seen. Why? Because the movie establishes rules on how this monkey kills people, but then proceeds to break those rules in the very opening scene. The film says that the toy doesn't start drumming unless you spin the dial. Only then will it start drumming, and when it stops, someone will die. But at the beginning of the film, no one spins that dial, but the damn monkey starts drumming by itself. How could they make a blatant mistake like this? They broke this thing's one and only rule, because in the rest of the film, you gotta turn that dial, except for the opening scene. You guys explain that one to me, because I could find no justification for this. And the monkey is just not threatening, because it's such an easy problem to deal with. Just don't turn that dial, or separate the dial from the monkey and there you go, it's harmless. I mean, if it can turn that dial by itself, as was shown in the opening, then that would rectify the problem. But aside from this one scene, it never does it again. Other evil toys like Chucky, Mithrigan, and even Annabelle have proven to be imminent threats, but this thing, the worst thing it does is follow you home. There are so many ways you can avoid using this thing, and this movie could have done so much basic things to get around this, but it just doesn't. And that makes it feel very poorly thought out. Now, the reason that death in Final Destination is so scary is because the thing killing you can be anywhere, and it has plans that are so unpredictable that even us audience members have no idea what it's gonna do. The death scenes keep you guessing, and they string you along for a while. There are a million different ways these setups could go, and the anticipation is both exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. But in The Monkey, the setups are too simple and straightforward, and despite having the same concept, they don't capture the imagination or tension of the Final Destination movies. So even the death scenes are completely inferior to Final Destination, and the Final Destination movies knew how to balance the occasional humor with the more serious tone. So in conclusion, I can't say I had high expectations for The Monkey, but I thought it would be entertaining at the very least. But it just ended up being boring. This movie was tonally inconsistent and awkward all the way through. It has no real atmosphere to it, is bland, has out-of-place comedy, and a supernatural object that ultimately poses no threat because you can very easily disable it. It was just boring, and I was waiting for it to end.
How much more of this crap is there?
Well, 9 hours, I'd say.
This is actually one of the most disappointing movies of the year, and it is definitely one of the worst. If it could just get a handle on its tone, and also get a handle of its script and wooden direction, then this could have been something fun. I mean, I'm not against this being a more comedic horror movie. There are plenty of fun ones out there, but this just wasn't it. If you want to watch a better movie that came out in 2025 that tried to be a more comedic take on a Final Destination type movie, then look no further than Final Destination. Final Destination 6 was very much a horror comedy, and everything the movie tries to do with its comedic death scenes and tone was done infinitely better than The Monkey. In fact, I would go as far as to say Final Destination Bloodlines makes this movie completely pointless. Now, I have never seen the director Osgood Perkins' other movies, but this one is not a great start and gives a very bad first impression. His latest movie doesn't seem to be winning people over either. There was some entertainment value in the climax, but aside from that, I was bored to tears with this film and unimpressed with everything else. The story sucked, the characters were boring, the tone was a complete mess, the deaths, they were okay at best. And I didn't even like the monkey. It's gotta be the least imposing horror object I have ever seen. When I saw the film the first time, I gave it a 4 out of 10, but after watching it again for this review, it's only gotten worse. So my score for the monkey is a 3 out of 10. So, what did you think of The Monkey? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. A huge thanks to my patrons who support what I do, as YouTube's copyright claims have not been stopping. Rather, they've been growing. I mean, they claimed my Mario Galaxy review a few days ago, even though YouTube gave it a pass with their copyright checks after I uploaded it. So your Patreon support really helps, and I have been hard at work giving you tons of content in return, including trailer reactions and reactions to the latest episodes of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and I'll be doing the same with plenty of other TV shows and movies as well. Plus, you can also join my private Discord server and join us with our bi-weekly watch parties and discussions as well. So there is no shortage of additional content over on Patreon. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see all of you very soon. Take care.